Welcome to the Kilgrey online tutorial to get started with memoQ. In the 7th module of this 10-part series, we will look at some general information on memoQ. We will look at resources and settings within projects and outside of projects in the resource console and the memoQ options. This module will take between 10 and 15 minutes to go through. At the end, there will be 3 questions to test your understanding of the topics that were covered. memoQ is a project-based translation tool. This means that there are some things that you have to do within a project, but that there are also settings that have to be set outside of a project. This presentation will show you the following: what the differences between the general settings in the resource console and the specific settings in the project are, and where and how projects, TMs, term bases, and so on are saved. A project is a temporary collection of documents to be worked on, resources like databases for translations and terminology, and settings like a QA checker profile or a non-translatables list. In the project, you import documents and activate the resources, databases and settings you want to use. These resources also exist independently of the projects that they are used in, which means that resources can be managed within a project in the project home, but resources can also be managed outside of a project in the resource console. Let us take a look at the different options you have within a project. The overview area shows the general meta information that was entered during project setup or later in the settings area. It allows the connection to the language terminal, an online platform free of charge, where you can organize your projects, create proposals for clients, save backup copies of your projects, share resources like segmentation rules or auto-translation rules, create preview files for InDesign documents, and so on. The reports area allows you to create progress reports and analysis reports. A progress report will show you, for example, how many segments are confirmed, how many have been edited, and how many have not been started yet. The analysis shows the matches you can get from the TM. Basically, the information displayed in the reports is the same that you would see when creating word counts and analysis statistics. The advantage of the report over the statistics is that they will stay in the project and can be viewed again. But you do not have all the options, like including spaces into the counts, as you do when you create the statistics using the statistics command. The translations area lists all your translation documents, including the version number of the document, and an indication of a comment on the document itself, the number of segments in the document, and the translation progress. The progress will show a percentage of the confirmed and proofread segments. From the list of documents, you can also create a so-called view. A view can be a combination of several documents, or it can contain only specific segments of one or more documents. The buttons on the Documents ribbon tab allow you to control imports, exports, and statistics. The import command allows you to import documents with the default settings, import documents with customizable options, like importing comments from Word files or only certain areas from an Excel file, or import whole folder structures. The export commands list all export options. Export bilingual will export the segments from the translation editor to, for example, an XLIF file for further use with other tools, or to a Word table for proofreading within Word. Export with dialog lets you save the translation with a name and location you choose yourself, whereas export in stored path exports the files to a preset export path. The Change Export Path link lets you change the default export. Documents can be removed from the documents list or re-imported, which means that either the same file or a second changed version of the same document is imported to override the file in the list. The statistics create word counts and match rate statistics. LQA reports allow you to document translation quality. Add to LiveDocs corpus will add the selected file pairs to the corpus, just as if it was an alignment pair. And the button on the right allows you to create views to glue documents together or split them into several parts. The LiveDocs area lists the corpora and the documents contained in a corpus. The import document and import folder structure commands let you import documents as reference or for concordant searching in the source or target language. Bilingual documents like TTX files from Trados are imported as alignments. The View Edit command opens the alignment editor for the selected document pair. Add alignment pairs allows you to add source and target language documents in single pairs or in folder structures. With linked documents, you can link up two monolingual documents into an alignment. Export to TM will save all confirmed segment pairs of an alignment to the primary TM. Remove will delete a document or document pair from the list. The export command will save the selected document pair to an XLIF file. The import command will let you import such an exported XLIF file, for example if you want to move alignments from one corpus to another. And finally, the toggle read only will lock the alignment. You can still view it, but not change it until you click the button again. The Translation Memories area lists the TMs that contain the languages of your project and shows which ones are activated for use in the project and which one is the working or master TM. The TMs can be sorted by the metadata above the list. The Create Use New button lets you create a new TM, whereas the Clone button lets you copy the settings of an existing TM. Register Local lets you add a memoQ TM from a different user. Delete will delete the TM and its associated folder on your machine. The Properties link lets you change metadata of the TM, for example to make it read-only. Remove from Project, this will toggle the use in Project, depending which TM you select in the list, basically does the same thing as clicking inside the checkbox in front of a TM. It activates or deactivates the TM in the list. The Settings link allows you to activate different TM settings. For example, what match rates are shown during translation, what penalties are applied, and the Set as Working allows you to change the TM you write to. Set as Master defines where to store translations when using the Confirm and Update Rows command. Edit shows the content of a TM, the segment pairs. Import and Export allows you to import delimited text files and TMX files and export the content of a TM to TMX. Repair Resource is used after a computer crash or if the TM does not behave as expected by re-indexing the TM. Synchronize Offline only works with online projects. The term base area shows most of the commands discussed in the Translation Memories area. Please note, Set as Target for new terms lets you select the term base you would like to add new terms to. Raise rank or lower rank helps you to define the order in which memoQ searches the term bases. Please also note that the export format for term bases is different compared to TMs. For term bases, it is CSV, separated value file, but not TMX. A muse is a container for fragment pairs, something in between a database for segment pairs, like a TM, and a database for term pairs, like a term base. To create a muse container and extract fragment pairs from translation memories or alignments, use the Create Use New command. The Properties command lets you change the metadata of the muse container. The Delete link will remove the muse from the project and delete the muse folder. To move a muse between users, you can export and import the muse container with its content. To add more fragment pairs from new alignments and TMs, you can retrain the muse at any time. The General tab in the Settings area details the settings of the project, that is the name, the selected languages, the path where the project folder is stored, and so on. It would also list all available custom fields that might have been added to the TMs for selection here. In addition, you can access all other project-relevant settings here, like the segmentation rules, the QA checker, the settings for the TM and the LiveDocs corpora, auto-translatables, non-translatables, export path rules, and the LQA linguistic quality assurance settings. As you have seen, the resources, that is the databases and settings that are attached to a project by activating the checkbox in front of the resource, can be edited within a project. If you need to edit these databases and settings outside of a project, you would go to the Resource Console. The Resource Console, as the name indicates, lists all the available resources in memoQ. Here you can edit, change, add or delete resources independently of any project. To open the Resource Console, click the Resource Console icon in the Quick Access toolbar at any time. It does not matter if a project is open or not. The Resource Console lists all available resources, even some that are not available inside a project, like ignore lists to exclude terms from the spell checker, filter configurations, which are needed during import of specific file formats, keyboard shortcuts, where you can customize your shortcuts, or the stop word lists to be used during terminology extraction. All resources can be exported and imported. Please note, any resource, database or setting you create within a project gets automatically activated in that project. Any resource you create in the Resource Console is available for any project but needs to be activated manually. One last area where you can specify some settings is the Options area. This is where you can customize the behavior of memoQ itself. Setting your own default for certain things is very useful, because this default will then be used whenever you create a new project. This could be customized settings for segmentation rules, a standard QA checker profile, or some customized setting for matches from the TM or LiveDocs. One of the default resources, the web search, which will allow you to add any online dictionary for looking up terms, can be configured here. To set up the web search, you only have to select any of the available lookup platforms in the Resource Console or add your own preferred platforms there. This will allow you to look up terms from within the translation editor on any activated online dictionary. The Appearance lets you specify what fonts and font sizes are used for the display of the text in the translation editor, or what colors are used for the tags or for the status of a segment. These might have to be changed for users with color blindness. The area Spelling and Grammar lets you choose which spell-checking dictionary to use, Handspell or Word, for a specific language and whether or not to run a grammar check. Please note that grammar checking currently requires Microsoft Word to be installed on your computer. In the Miscellaneous category, you can set the languages that you would like to see first in the list, when you create a new project, for example. You could change the list of languages from the default alphabetical list to a list that contains the languages that you most often use. Here is some information on the path memoQ uses to save projects, TMs, term bases, and settings. Projects are usually being saved on the C drive under Users, your username, Documents, and My memoQ Projects. Resources like TMs, term bases, corpora, and muses are saved under C Program Data memoQ. Light resources like QA profiles, non-translatable lists, and the like are saved under C Program Data memoQ Resources Local. This concludes the module on understanding memoQ. The next module in this series will show you how to use the track changes feature. On the next slide, we will ask you some questions that will help you to test your knowledge on the general memoQ information. Here comes the quiz. First question. Where can you customize the appearance of the translation editor? The possible answers are: the appearance cannot be customized. The appearance can be customized in the memoQ options, or I can customize the general appearance only in the settings of the project. The correct answer is: the appearance can be customized in the memoQ options. Second question. What is the resource console? The possible answers are: the resource console lists all resources, databases, settings, independent of any project. The resource console lists only TMs and term bases, or the resource console allows you to set up the spell checker. The correct answer is: the resource console lists all resources, databases, settings, independent of any project. Third question. Where would you create a new TM? The possible answers are: TMs can only be created in the options in the TM plugins category. I can only create TMs when I create a new project, or in the project home screen, the resource console, or during project setup. The correct answer is: in the project home screen, the resource console, or during project setup. Thank you for watching this tutorial. The next module will give you an overview of the track changes possibilities in memoQ. This tutorial was created with memoQ 2015. The tutorial was created by Loctimize for Kilgrade Translation Technologies.